Jeff Platt here for PokerNews.com, hanging out with Bart Hanson. Bart, we'll get to the WSOP, maybe a little bit of poker strategy in a little bit. If you guys follow Bart on Twitter at Bart Hanson, you probably know what I'm about to ask him about. That would be your massive video poker score. Take me through that entire experience. Don't leave anything out.
Take you through the entire experience. Well, I was a little bit bummed that I got knocked out of the 10,008, which is my favorite event that I've final tabled a few times over the years. I was at Caesars for my last day before I moved into my Airbnb. And I'm not going to bore you with the details about getting 7-star, but there's a way to do it on some very high-stakes video poker machines with the lowest expected loss. And people would actually be surprised it's not that much of a loss, but you got to play big. You got to play $250 a hand.
That's big.
That's big. You got to do it for about 100 spins over maybe 10 different times over the summer. I've done it the last couple years. What that means is I can cut the line in the cash games, which is really good for me, in the 08 cash games. And so I was in the process of doing it one night. This night I've never hit a Royal. Royal pays $200,000. And I hit the Royal. And I was actually playing in a game that I don't usually play, which is bonus poker, which is slightly worse than Jacks or Better. And the reason why I was playing it was because I told myself, I never hit the Royal. Let me play bonus, so if I hit 4 of a kind, I'll get like 20,000. So the Royal pays off the same in both games. It's just in bonus you get more for the 4 of a kind, and you get a little bit less for like full houses and flushes. So I was playing bonus, and I was down to having 10 credits left. I started with, I think it was $8,000 or something like that.
And this is after you're on tilt from the Omaha bust out.
Yes, that's the story of it. But I had to do it anyways. But yeah, and then on my second to last spin, I hit it. And I was like, holy shit, like that's amazing. People were like, wow, that your reaction wasn't like, that crazy. But I was sort of in shock. Nobody was around. The high limit area at Caesars, like the high limit slots area, there's no one in there ever. And then around the corner where those 2 machines are, and I got it on video. And I drew 2 into a Royal. So sometimes when I draw 1 into a Royal, like when you get dealt 4 to a Royal, I'll start videoing it because, there's like a 1 in 45 chance of hitting. 2 into a Royal is like 1 in 1,000. I don't even bother. So that's why I didn't have the video up. But then it hit. And yeah, that was that. 200,000. You can go to Crush Live Poker YouTube, and the video's there. I have a feeling that video is going to go viral. It's great for me because I come to the World Series to promote my company, Crush Live Poker, and this is probably bigger news than if I were to even win a bracelet, because it transcends it. It goes to
mainstream.
Yeah, audience. It goes to like non-poker news type stuff. So, and that's the biggest jackpot I've actually seen. If you search on video poker jackpots on YouTube, I haven't seen anything bigger than like 40 or 50,000 on film. So that's pretty cool. 200,000.
So you mentioned that you were in shock at the time. a couple days later, you still in shock? Has it settled in yet?
Not really. My main goal right now at dinner time today in this event is I'm going to head over to Caesars, and I'm going to draw that. My money is in a front account right now, which means I could play against it if I wanted to. I'm going to go over and get that check out. I'm going to get the check out of Caesars, and I'm bringing it to my bank tonight at dinner. So, like, I have only a $20,000 marker line over there. So, right now I'm just going to draw that money out. And it was funny because at the end they were like, do you want to take it in cash? And I'm like, what? Cash?
Cash.
Chips. It's pretty cool. I was down like 30 or 40,000 on those machines for them the last 2 or 3 years, even though I should only be down like a few thousand in expectation. If you know anything about video poker, the return's all in the Royal. And I've never hit a Royal before at that level. So, it flips up.
Yeah.
So.
You had a pretty big one, I would say. Yeah. Okay, World Series of Poker. What's your schedule looking like over this next month and a half or so?
Well, I mean, the 08 events are gone in the front, and I'm playing, I would say, mostly no limit stuff. With mixed 08, I think is in 2 weekends. That's an event that I've went deep in every single time. It's a fairly new event. There's also a re-entry. It's 08, Big O, and PL08. That's a really, really good event. And then there are the PL08s at the end, too, 10K and 1,500. So it's those two, and then the no limit, and then 10K Raz, too, which I final tabled a couple years ago, and I'm actually pretty good at. But then it's really just mostly no limit, and then those events. I I have 10K horse on my thing. I'm not sure if I'm going to play it or not. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, so it's going to be mostly no limit. I'm looking forward to the Millionaire Maker. I really think the double stack, we talked about this on air, the double stack 1K is going to be an incredible event because it's just a regular event, regular 1K, but they're giving you a 10,000 in chips with 1 hour levels. And it's like multiple, and it's re-entry. Like that could bust the prize pool in the million. Well, probably not because Millionaire Maker's 1,500,
Sure.
but it's going to be big. That event's going to be really big. Like that's going to crush. People were like, oh, I want to pick an event. Let's do the Colossus of the 888 or little 1-for-1 drop. I'm like, no, do that double stack, the 1K double stack. The field level is softer too. Yeah. You'd be surprised, like 1,500 to 1K, so field levels are softer too. So, yeah.
There's a lot of value in that structure.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
finally,
yeah.
Bart, you mentioned it, Crush Live Poker. I want you to give us a little bit of a preview by answering this question. What would you say is the main mistake that cash game players make when they're transitioning to tournaments? Well, let's stick with No Limit Texas Hold'em for the sake of this question.
Well, you got to learn the short stack stuff too, which isn't really that complex. Like I have a really good friend of mine that does a podcast. We have like a high professional level subscription. His name's Conlon Ma. He lives in the Bay Area. He's never played any tournaments, and he's learning. He's like, I got to learn the short stack stuff. I mean, the short stack stuff you can learn like very, very quickly. I think there's some differences in the strength of hands as the stacks go down. Like offsuit high cards sort of go up in value. Like King Jack offsuit in a cash game, that hand has very little value. Yeah. In a tournament, sure, when you make top pair, anytime you can make top pair and you're going to go with it, high cards go up in value. Suited connectors, low pairs go down in value. It almost becomes like limit hold'em, sort of like a hybrid with limit hold'em. I would also say too, as cash game players, we don't really think about just winning the pot, betting to win the pot. We usually think about, all right, I want to bet and get called by a worse hand for value, or I want to bluff at it. There is a little bit of protection betting in cash games, but not nearly as much in tournaments. And sometimes in a tournament, if the pot is really big, like just gigantic, and if your life is on the line, even if you have a guy like 75-25, or even if you have a guy like 85-15, you might not want him to call. You know what I mean? Like you might move all in and he's getting like 3-1 and you don't want the call at 85-15. You'd just rather win the pot. My point is that there's a lot more betting just to take the pot down. So there's a lot more protection betting and just betting to win the pot because it's big. That's sometimes where I struggle with too. It's like I 3-bet with ace king. The board comes out king high. It's a multi-way pot. I got knocked out this way at Commerce a couple months ago. I have one pot size bet left, or I have 3/4 of a pot size bet left, and it's like king 9 deuce. And I 3-bet with ace king, and I got two guys in front of me that called. Should I bet small? And it's like, should I just bet to take the pot down? Ace king shouldn't really be all that vulnerable.
Sure.
Well, yeah, I bet small. I bet 1/4 of the pot, and the guy called with a gut shot, and he hit the turn with a gut shot. So it's tough to balance those things sometimes, So
Balance is all that we're looking
Yeah.
for in life. All right, that's Bart Hanson of Crush Live Poker. You can catch him here at the tables. You can also catch him in the booth from time to time. Had the pleasure of sitting alongside Bart for some of our Twitch streaming coverage of the World Series of Poker. You can follow him on Twitter at Bart Hanson and check out that 200K spike in video poker. He's Bart Hanson. I'm Jeff Platt for PokerNews.com.